Hi, everyone. This is Don Giannetti, lighting-essentials.com, project52prosystem.com, and my own website, dongiannetti.com. There are links down below. This is Minimal Viable Brand. This is Module 4, Leave Behinds and Note Cards. Well, the good thing about Leave Behinds is that you can use what we already created in direct mail if the client you're talking to hasn't already received that direct mail. You don't want to hand out to the art director the same piece he got in the mail a week ago or a month ago. Not a good idea. Leave behinds are such a very, very important part of this process that I want to give them a little bit of an extra nudge for you. What you leave behind is something for them to remember. You want to brand that to remember you. So sometimes, occasionally, leave behinds are actually more clever, rich, full of content than the direct mail pieces, because you're right there with the person. You've just shown them your portfolio. They've just told you about their agency, and now it's time for you to leave something to really cement that relationship. Now, this is minimal viable brands, so we're going to be talking about the minimum thing you can do, not the maximum. There are people who, there are photographers who have elaborate leave behinds. There are creative people who do amazing creative stuff to leave, and that's great. But we're talking minimal here. You can go from minimal as far as you want to go. We're good. But what do you need to get started? A lot of people use oversized postcards. We talked about those in direct mail and MVB3. Some people use the little magazine approach. Some people leave a print. I think one of the things I did for a couple of years is I had some signed and numbered prints. So I actually left them a signed and numbered print with the little certificate saying it was a signed and numbered print and that it was part of a series. I thought that would give it a little more panache, so to speak, and I heard back from people that they really enjoyed that. So it was a little box with a print. It was actually a matted print in it and signed and numbered with the certificate. I've seen people leave wine or spirits. I think that's fine, and you know the people are not going to be offended by that. But these days, people are offended by, well, just about everything. So I'd be real careful about bringing wine, spirits, or anything like that. You also want to make sure that you have the ability to remind them of what they liked about your book. So if you're showing food, you want your leave behind to somehow be food related. So a postcard of a food shot that wasn't in your book, or maybe a food shot that was in your book. Maybe it's the opening image of your book to refresh their mind of the portfolio they saw. Maybe it's the last image in your book. Or maybe you carry 4 or 5 leave behinds and you leave the one exactly for them. They didn't care much for your farm to table shots, but they really loved the plated stuff. Great. Reach into your bag, grab the plated leave behind and leave it. Wouldn't it be terrible if they weren't crazy about farm to market, or they didn't do farm to market? You know, farm to table, that type of thing, fresh. So that's not what they did. They only did restaurants, and the only thing you have in your bag is a shot of a watermelon on a watermelon truck or something. Really beautiful farm to table, not appropriate for them. So make sure that you have those. Now that can be expensive, right? We already did direct mail. We know postcards can add up, etc. Print them yourself. Get a really good quality paper and print them yourself. Remember, they don't have to be postcards because you're not going to post them. You're going to hand it to them. So yeah, it can't be a flimsy paper, but a pretty nice hammer mule or a really nice Moab paper, with your signature on the bottom and whatever. It makes it kind of special. Leave them something that they can remember you by. Leave behinds are a big part of what we do with the the personal portfolio showing. I think you need to have one. No, I don't think you need to have one. You need to have one. I got to stop saying I think. Thanks, Ash. What the other thing you have to do is to remember that the thank you card. Yeah, we all have email. I got that. We can send an email thank you, and you probably should send an email thank you about a week out with the picture attached, right? Because we're photographers. But I think the science, the research is in that a personal note card, with writing on it. You do remember writing. Maybe you pick up a handwriting font. I don't know. Personal writing on it is more memorable. People like it. It brings a smile to their face. And it's just one more way of reinforcing your name, your brand. I recommend the note card papers that you can get. Canon makes them. Ilford makes them. Moab makes them. A lot of companies make them. Red River has several different stocks, and you print the front. You put an image on the front. You put the thank you on the inside. You put it in a nice envelope, branded. And your envelopes, by the way, you can print those one off in your inkjets. You don't have to go out and buy 10,000 envelopes printed at the local printer. No, print them one off. You need an envelope, put it on the printer and print it off. Nice color, got your logo on there. Maybe it's got your something across the back that's clever, a saying or something. Make sure you know what you're doing when you do it, and you send that off to them. That is something you do immediately. So you have a process to go to your portfolio meetings. You have a process. You get dressed in your personal brand wardrobe. You do have a personal brand wardrobe, correct? If you don't, send me an email. We'll talk. Maybe I'll add that to this. But you got to brand yourself. You grab your portfolio. You make sure the images are all in it. Make sure if you're going to take an iPad, your iPad is juiced up. It's ready to go. Run through the app. Make sure your portfolio comes up. Put your leave behinds in the portfolio box or in your bag or wherever you're going to put them, and head out the door. Making sure that you can be there at least 10 minutes early. Always be 10 minutes early. Never be 10 minutes late. They can be 10 minutes late, but you can't. Now, personally, I don't wait longer than 10 minutes for someone. So if I go, it's a 2 o'clock meeting and it's 12 minutes after 2, I'm probably heading to the parking lot. We teach people how to treat us, and nobody treats me that way. So I just am very nice. I go up and I said, well, obviously, so-and-so's in a meeting. I have another meeting I have to get to. Here's my leave behind, my business card. Thank you very much. Tell him I'll call him next week. You sit there for an hour, doesn't do you any good. Just doesn't. That's just psychology. It's not photography. It's just psychology. It doesn't do you any good. You're not finished with that portfolio review until you've got the personal thank you note in the mail. 3 things on the thank you note. Thank you very much. That's sentence number 1, however you want to say it. Thank you for taking the time, etc., whatever. Number 2, something you really enjoyed about the meeting. What was that thing you enjoyed about the meeting? Was it something they said, I'm so happy you like my duck pictures, whatever. And then the third thing is remind them that you're available for hire. Thank you very much. I'm so glad we got a chance to meet. I'm glad you like my duck pictures. And by the way, I'm a duck photographer, and I'd love to go out and shoot pictures of ducks for you. 3 sentences max. Don't write them up. Don't write them up a long, drawn out something. Well, unless that's warranted. I mean, maybe something really exciting happened. You were there and the elevator, got frozen, and you want to remind them of that, because anything you do helps brand you in their brain. So be really, really aware that it's all up to you on that thank you note. So that's it for this class. It's a short class. It's we covered most of everything about printing, designing your stuff earlier in direct mail. We're going to bring all that forward. We're not going to repeat it. There's no point to it. But remember, if you go off and look at some of the links that are there, some photographers go very elaborately. They bring food and big boxes of photographs or whatever it is. We're talking the minimal viable brand, because I don't want you doing that when you're first starting out. It's not going to be worth it. And you will be spending your assets on stuff that you shouldn't spend on, and not have, then you, at the end of the year, you don't have the money to do what you need. So minimal viable brand. Number 4, scratched off. We'll see you next time. Thank you.